had created a special academy for them to nurture their power, but while attending the lecture, Moroi simply fell asleep and saw a vision of his former life in which he was saving a girl. Then another student named Satsuki headbutted him to wake him up, but it only knocked him down. As soon as he saw her face, he recognized Satsuki and addressed her by her past self's name. This sparked delight in Satsuki's mind about Moroi as well, that he's the older brother she lost in her previous life, and she began clinging to him. But there was another girl who felt there as well. Her name is Shizuno, and for some reason she just kissed Moroi out of nowhere, which upset Satsuki for the moment. But she was still on a mission to win Moroi's heart. Then, on the first day of class, the teacher taught them about the different types of saviors, which are divided into two classes, warriors and mages, and both use prana to summon their power. Throughout the first year, Satsuki wanted to brag about being able to use prana while others couldn't, but there was a guy named Gen who was taking things too lightly. And Satsuki couldn't hold herself back from confronting him. Their conversation ran long, and Satsuki lost her cool and challenged Gen to a duel. Although it was forbidden to duel on the first day of school, those two did not listen to his teacher. Then in the area when Satsuki was able to conjure half of prana's power, Gen was at his full level. Satsuki had no chance against someone who was above her league. That defeat made her quite upset. Even after some time had passed, she was still upset because she wanted to earn Moroi's praise but failed, but Moroi told her that one character mattered more than their strength. And his words brought a little peace into her heart and chills things out even before Shizuno arrived. Moroi couldn't take it the way Gen had insulted her and requested a duel. Moroi had no knowledge of using prana and was on the losing side. Then suddenly Satsuki's voice, that was cheering him on, awoke in his memories from the past life along with powers, and now Gen was having a hard time even letting a hit in him. The principal sensed Moroi's prana, so she rushed in and saw the moment Moroi had Gen cornered. He chanted high-level spell to defeat him, although Moroi won. It was the first time him using prana. And as a result he also blacked out, but Prince Mari's little sister named Maya used her healing art to heal Moroi. There, Mari told Moroi that he had awakened memories from his past two selves, one of a warrior and the other of a mage, which makes him quite unique. By the way, Maya and Mari leave to let Moroi rest. But then the leader of the strike team that specialized against the metaphysical came to request Moroi and Shizuno to meet with him privately. Where Jean proposed that they join in their team and get promoted to C class instantly. Jean saw Moroi's with Gen and was convinced that his power would serve as a great help. Moroi instantly agreed, and to get closer to Moroi, Shizuno also gave her consent to join in. Jean had been trying to get Shizuno for a long time, and this time she agreed because of Moroi. Then Moroi and Shizuno met the rest of the team in the practice arena. Then at the end of the day Satsuki felt left out, so she wants to grab a lunch with Moroi, but Shizuno gets a bit rude and declines her in Moroi's stead, which just made her cry out, and Moroi got a bit upset about what Shizuno had done. Moroi then chases her and brightens her mood by agreeing to her previous offer. Then Moroi's birthday was approaching. Satsuki called in for some help from Shizuno to help her get a nice gift for Moroi, but on that shopping area a giant metaphysical just appeared, even though Satsuki was scared. She worked up her courage to at least hold that thing off until backup arrived, and Shizuno came to her aid as well. But the entire striker team was on standby until they got any orders from higher-ups in that situation. Even though they knew Satsuki and Shizuno were out there fighting alone, Moroi couldn't take their nuisance and arrived all alone. It was a bit late since both Satsuki and Shizuno were getting petrified by that snake, but his class was an S-class metaphysical, and it takes about several of the best saviors to defeat it. But Moroi managed to take that thing down all by himself. Moroi defeated a S-rank metaphysical while only being a C-rank savior, so when three of them were in a cafe, one of the head six of the Savius named Edward came in to inquire about the rumors of Moroi's power, but seeing that he couldn't dodge his attack, Edward was quite disappointed in him. Then, at the academy school, a joint training session was held with the second-year students, and one of them was roaring to go for the first fight. His name is Kamrei, and he chose to take on Moroi because he and everyone were impressed with his feat. Kame used a high-level chant of fire spell, but it didn't even leave a mark on Moroi, so Moroi used even more of a power spell to get back what he threw. Then that entire day Shizuno was in a bad mood because of his brother, so Moroi got to Maya to ask about Shizuno's family. As a matter of fact, her family is the biggest funder of this academy and his brother is the chairman, so he trained Shizuno from an early age to simply raise their family status. Her brother then invites Moroha and offers the same rank position on the Saviors if he lies that he took out metaphysical all on himself, which was true. But there was also no denying that Shizuno and Satsuki were also present who took on that metaphysical, so Moroha declined his offer. Even though Moroha could have wealth and fame, he didn't want to sell himself out, so while Moroha was being dropped off by the butler of the Shizuno's family, he asked the butler to drop him off right on way, because there was someone following Moroha, and although her power was great, it couldn't be compared to Moroha's, so when she got a little wounded, she fled. Later, it was revealed that Edward had sent his maid to test Moroha's power, but Edward still didn't have high hopes for him. Moroha then got a new flatmate, which was a little awkward, but even Maya's sister had given them permission to stay in the same room. Then Shizuno's family suddenly decided to send her off to England for her further studies due to her family's wealth and raising their stats. When Moroha heard about it, he wanted to help Shizuno, but the girl was raised by the family rule, so she was unable to do anything. Even so, Moroha wanted to help her. She was a bit resilient, but she didn't betray her feelings and ran away with Moroha to avoid being separated from her. Then her brother asked Edward to bring his sister back as a member of the head of Japan's branch of Saviors. Then just in an instant, Edward and his maid Angelica caught up to them, so Moroha taking on Edward while Satsuki and Shizuno kept Angelica busy. From their fight, Satsuki and Shizuno combined, and yet they didn't stand a chance. But on Moroha's side, he was gaining an upper hand, but when Edward realizes that he cannot defeat Moroha in a straightforward manner, he revealed his hidden weapon and armor and went toe-to-toe with Moroha. He then regained his memories of his second life, where he had a relationship with Shizuno and was a powerful mage, and those memories restored his full power. And Edward didn't stand a chance against Moroha. Later that night, Moroha finally confronts Shizuno and about their past together. Then Principal Mari had planned to send Netire Striker team to a summer camp to transform, but also to rest up a bit to a beach, and everyone was preparing to get their swimsuit ready. But then Satsuki challenged Momo to a 100-meter run, as usual. Although Momo is not as strong as Moroha, her speed is comparable. At that moment, Edward called Moroha to inform him that one of the head six, Mirror, is opposed to him being AS rank. Apparently, she is the most dangerous of the head six. Anyway, while everyone was having a good time, Shizuno managed to get Moroha away from everyone and spend some sweet time with him. But then, while all the S-rank saviors were meeting, a signal of a hyper-class metaphysical, super dangerous, that only AS rank could take on appeared. Andu from coming to Japan because the location was exactly where Moroha was, so it could serve as a nice test for him. So while Andu was unable to get to Japan, everyone on the beach and in the surrounding area received an order to evacuate immediately. But if even strikers left the area, who knows what kind of destruction that metaphysical could cause, so Moroha, Jin, Satsuki, Shizuno, and Maya stayed behind. But the rest of the team arrived to support them and do their job as saviors. Then, as soon as that metaphysical came to the land, they played loud music to attract its attention. And Moroha and Jin got to take on the giant one while others were struggling to deal with the smaller one. But when Jin and Moroha dealt a fatal blow to that monster, many faces appeared on its body screaming loudly, and that sonic sound basically harmed many of the striker team members. So they chose to pull back for the time being and take shelter under a shield spell, and Satsuki was showing a lot of courage by helping others pull back, but it was putting a lot of stress on her. But in that time of need, Moroha simply remembered a destruction level spell with which he eventually defeated that monster, and now all six were convinced of Moroha's power. Terror couldn't take it and ordered her assassin to eliminate Moroha. So our videos today come to an end. In Terror plan, and why is she so opposed to Moroha? Find out in the next part of the recap, but until then, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.